Welcome to Above Par. I'm your host, Kathy Hartwood. I show you how to take more of your talent to the golf course without practicing harder, taking more lessons, or buying new equipment. I show you how to end the frustration of underperforming so you can start playing to your potential. This is where you are going to learn how to think above par so you can play below par. Let's get to it. Hello, my golf friends. Welcome back to Above Par. So glad you're here. You ready to get the golf season going, especially if you're in the Northeast? You're getting a little impatient? Ready for the weather to change? Well, that's what I want to talk to you about today is patience, right? And how you're going to find some patience this year for yourself and your golf game. Now, you might find yourself or you might label yourself as a very patient person. You can still listen to this podcast, but I'm really talking to those people who lack a little bit patience. We want things in a hurry. And we have a tendency to label ourselves as an impatient person. I don't have very much patience. Right? People used to say that about me when I was teaching golf. They're like, I can't believe how much patience you have with people. Like they'd watch me teach people who are really struggling. And I was like, that's so interesting. I wouldn't perceive it that way by looking at what I was doing. But it's so interesting because it would be the contrast of what's going through their head, how they would not have patience for that person who was over there struggling, hitting golf balls. I just think that's interesting. And so I want to talk about patience and impatience, and especially if you label yourself as an impatient person. I find so many people do this, and basically you're labeling yourself as a person who just has a specific emotion all the time. It's almost like saying, I'm an angry person. I'm just a happy person. I'm just a discouraged and defeated and hopeless person. I'm an impatient person. Because the question is it an emotion? And I'm going to talk a little bit about that today. Or is it a skill? And what people say is when they lack patience is what they're saying is I don't have the skill, or I have an emotion that I have no control over, right? Are you a person who labels yourself as an impatient person or that you do not have a lot of patience? On the golf course, that's really going to affect your experience as well as your results when we lack patience, right? So Google says by definition that patience is the capacity to accept or tolerate delay, trouble, or suffering without getting angry or upset, right? So it's a capacity in that definition. It's a capacity to accept, which is very interesting. So a capacity, in that case, would be a skill that we learn, that we grow. It's something that we can do without getting angry, right? And if you listen to my podcast, you know that I talk about how emotions are always coming from our thoughts. So we have a thought in there that is going to create that feeling of anger. Right? Another definition is that patience is the ability to stay calm while waiting for an outcome you need or want. Right? In this case too, it's talking about it being an ability, a skill. Right? I want to talk about it in both cases. I also think that patience is an emotion. Right? And let me describe it this way. I think most people could appreciate that you've been to a restaurant and you're waiting for your food or your drink and it's taking a long time and you might get impatient, right? And you know what that feels like, right? Inside, you're feeling a little bit rushed. Things might be moving faster. The temperature might be going up. You're getting a little bit annoyed. You start showing up with the people in your group. You might be getting short and we start complaining. Might get short with the staff, right? That's coming from a thought that I should have my drink by now. I should have my food. Things should be moving faster. It shouldn't take this long. They should do better in the kitchen. The management should be doing better. They should be waiting on us first, right? It's coming from a thought that we repeat in our head enough times that creates that little bit of urgency and impatience. And that impatience feels hurried inside of us, right? Things are moving faster. It's not because you're sitting there and you're just like, I just have the DNA of an impatient person, so can't help it. I'm just going to get short and cranky and get aggravated here because I don't have my drink. That's not the case. It's the dialogue in your head that is creating those feelings. Okay, now, if you have those feelings inside of you, right? If you're hurried and your temperature's going up and you're getting a little short, like you're starting to get a little angry, that impatience, if we do that on the golf course while we're swinging a club, that is not going to behoove your golf game, right? It is not calm, certain, or confident. you are going to squeeze that club tighter. You are going to swing faster. It's going to mess up your tempo. You're going to become a little bit more reactionary on the golf course, especially if you're impatient with, let's say, the pace of play. That's one thing that people get impatient about, right? The group in front of you is not moving fast enough. It's kind of like not getting my drink soon enough. Where's my appetizer? Why aren't they moving faster? They should know better. They should hit when they're ready. They should know we're back here waiting, right? We become impatient. Then you hit a crappy shot and then you blame the people in front of you. But it's not the people in front of you. That's where you give away your power. It's the thoughts that they should be moving faster than they are. And you lack the capacity to control those emotions to get back to calm. Just like the definition said, it is the ability to stay calm. That's the skill of managing your mind. I think so many people get stuck because they label themselves as an impatient person. It's almost like I'm just going to abandon this. It's just who I am. It's like I have brown hair, blue eyes, and I'm impatient. Right? I want to encourage you if you're that person, that this is a skill that is going to serve you so much in the game of golf and off of the course, definitely for all the waiters and waitresses on the planet. Right? If you can learn the skill of patience, learn the capacity to stay calm, it's totally going to help you on the golf course, because that is the state that you want to play and swing from, because we want to swing freely and we want to think clearly. And we do that from calm and certain and confident. We can also be very impatient with ourselves in swing changes. Right? We go take a lesson. We need to make a swing change. We're impatient. It's not happening fast enough. Why aren't I getting it? I should have it by now. I've hit enough golf balls. I should own it. Okay. And I want you to know that same feeling is there, right? That hurried feeling, that urgency, right? You might blame the pro for not giving you a good enough tip, or that he should have said, or she should have said things differently. Right? We pass it on to the golf pro, or we beat ourselves up that we're not getting it soon enough. Now, when you go out and practice and you're trying to make a swing change and you're urgent and needy and graspy because you're impatient, because you think it should be happening faster than it is, you're not going to be making very calm and relaxed swings to allow the change to take effect. Right? You're going to be swinging a little harder, a little faster, because from that emotion of impatience, we move faster. And you're wondering why your tempo is all messed up and you can't make the swing changes that you want to make because you're squeezing the crap out of the club. Just saying, I've seen this 1,000 times and I've done it myself. Right? We can also be impatient with our results and our handicap and our score. I should be scoring better than this. I should be making more putts. I should be hitting more fairways. Why aren't I hitting more fairways? I've been practicing. It's not coming together. It's taking too long. Right? Like we backhand ourselves a little bit. Right? We treat ourselves like the waiter or the waitress at the restaurant. Like, come on. You gotta get this going. But if you're in a hurry to see results playing the game of golf, if you're in a hurry to start seeing a score, you're going to play that whole round from a very high energy, borderlining on anger and frustration the whole time if you do not have the capacity to get yourself back to being calm. And your results are not going to come. You're going to slow your results down. Why are you going to slow your results down? Because I've talked about how for you to play to your potential, for you to play your best golf is 2 steps. Figure out how you make your best swings, what state. I tell people it's for 99% of people, they like to be calm, certain, or confident, because from that state, we can think clearly and swing freely. And then the second step is to hit as many shots from there as possible. Swinging impatient or angry or frustrated is not going to produce your best swings because it shows up in your body as a higher energy, or you squeeze tighter, you move faster, you don't think clearly. Impatient people don't think very clearly. Right? And then you're wondering why you're not getting the results. Right? It kind of becomes this vicious cycle. And then you start labeling yourself as an impatient person. I saw this example when I was playing golf with my brother, who was known not to be a very patient kid and tour player. He played on the tour his whole life and a little bit of a hothead. Right? And we were playing golf and he was staking it. He hit it really, really close and he didn't make any putts. And I was waiting for him to react, get a little ticked off. And he missed another really short putt for birdie. And I said, how you doing? He said, I'm all right. I'm rolling it good. I'm just going to stay patient. They'll start dropping. Now my jaw dropped when he said that because that was not what I'm used to hearing him say, but it was such an awesome thing from a guy who wasn't very patient to remind himself, I'm rolling it well. I'm just going to stay patient. They'll start dropping. Because what happens is that moment versus saying, I'm not making anything. I'm hitting it so close. Nothing's going in. I need to make a birdie. Why aren't they falling? I should be making more putts than this. What happens is now your brain is going to start searching for all the ways that you're going to miss putts, that they're not going in, that you're getting bad breaks, that you should be making more putts than you are. But when you say to yourself, I'm rolling it well. I'm just going to stay patient. They'll start dropping. Your brain is going to start looking for evidence of that. When you can stay patient, when you can learn the capacity to shift and change the language in your brain, then you go putting or playing from a much more calm place. And then you start looking for evidence. Then you're going to start seeing evidence. And for him, the putts started dropping. It was such a great thought that he had. I'm so glad I asked him, and I'm so glad that he shared it with me. I'm so glad that he says that now for himself, right? But that's patience. Patience will serve you in golf so well because there is no end with golf. There is no there. We don't get there. Because every day we tee off, it's like Groundhog Day. We start all over again. Right? You might have a goal of getting to a very low handicap, a number, but then there's maintaining it or maybe dropping it more. I mean, we're always progressing and learning with the game of golf. Patience will serve us. What does that sound like? What do you need to say to yourself to create more calm and patience? I'm figuring it out. I'm going to get it. I'm seeing progress every day. I'm going to have some good days. I'm going to have some bad days. Some days, pace of play is going to be great. Some days, not so great. It's just like traffic. I'm just going to stay in my lane. The scores are coming. The birdies are coming. I'm seeing progress in my swing. Things are working out. Now, you don't have to lie to yourself. Like if things aren't working out, definitely pivot and change up something. But the patience comes from the language that you say to yourself, not because you were born with patience or you were born with impatience. As you go into the season and you have goals for yourself and you're going to play in, let's say, tournaments, some are going to be great and some are not going to be so great. If you find yourself getting off to a rough start, you bogey 3 holes in a row, patience is going to serve you versus saying, I need to make a birdie to make it up. I need to have a couple good holes in a row to make this up. Versus, I'll just be patient. They'll come. You play from such a better state that is more likely to create better results for yourself. Patience is a virtue, right? But it's a skill as well as an emotion. So I encourage you to practice patience. When you find yourself being impatient, listen to the dialogue in your head. Pay attention to how it feels. You do have control over that. Don't abandon that control because you think you're just born as an impatient person. Keep working on the capacity to grow, your ability to stay calm in those moments that are not so easy. It will serve you on and off the golf course. All right, my friends, I hope you have a beautiful week. I'll talk to you next Wednesday. If you like this podcast, I'd love to invite you to join the Above Par Academy. That's where we take this work to another level. We talk deeper about these topics and you get coached and helped and guided through all of it so that you can think better, you can feel better, and you can play better. It all happens in the Above Par Academy. I hope you can join us. Go to abovepar.club to find out more.